Mark Tate and the Winston Eagle are looking to the Tri-Cities of Washington for their first big win of the season. But Chip Hanauer in the Miss Budweiser is looking for his own win, hoping to take home his 5th consecutive trophy. ESPN presents the RC Cola 1992 Unlimited Hydroplane Series. The 5th stop of this series, the Budweiser Columbia Cup. Sponsored by RC Cola. Give me the taste of my RC. By Eagle Snacks. Remember, not all snacks are created eagle. And by Budweiser, the king of beers. With that clean, crisp, cold taste, nothing beats a Bud.
This is the 27th annual appearance for the Unlimited Hydros here at Tri-Cities, the cities of Pasco, Richland, and Kennewick. Hello, everybody. I'm Jim Hendrick, along with Steve Montgomery. Dick Crippen standing by for the play-by-play. We'll hear from him momentarily. 11 boats appeared here in the Tri-Cities to try to qualify for this one, Steve.
Jim, as of 9 o'clock this morning, we had an 11-boat field. We had 7 turbines, 4 piston boats. Unfortunately, in testing this morning, Bob Fendler's entry out of Honolulu, Hawaii, racing here as the Ms. Pog, lost a rudder, destroyed a rudder bracket, some internal damage. We're down to a 10-boat field.
We're halfway through the Eagle Stacks High Point Trophy Chase. Let's check the standings. Here's Dick Crippen.
Jim, as far as the points are concerned, that battle between the Winston Eagle and the Miss Budweiser hasn't happened yet. Although it's been a rivalry in each of the races, the Miss Budweiser has been dominating. It is the tied boat with George Woods Jr. now sitting in 2nd place in the points.
All right, Dick, thank you very much. And you know, Steve Montgomery, this may be the fastest field of the year yet.
Absolutely, Jim. 5 boats over the 150-mile-per-hour mark. 4 of them you can throw a blanket over. They're between 150 and 154. But the bad news for those 4 guys, Jim, Chip Hanauer and the Budweiser is at 162.
That was a course record, and for the 5th consecutive time, Chip Hanauer wins the Winston Select Lap Award.
2 of the Unlimited Racing teams coming here to the Tri-Cities with some extra work to do after the race in Madison. Heavy damage to the Tide and the Miss T-Plus. Are they ready? Jim Hendrick checks on the situation in those 2 camps.
Last time we saw this boat, the Tide, half of it was missing. The right sponson gone at Madison, Indiana. This man, Danny High, the crew chief, and his crew did a miracle job. They put this boat back together. How big of a job was it, Danny High?
Well, we had pretty much the right side of the boat gone. There, we replaced a full canoe on the right side. Ron Jones Marine provided the parts, and the guys worked pretty much 20, 22 hours a day trying to get the thing back together. We didn't count the hours, but there was a lot of glue and a lot of fiberglass flying.
Another man who has a repaired hull is the T-Plus driver, Steve Davis. Steve, last time we saw it, you were trying to get it restarted. Tail was gone. The rear quarter panel smashed in. Your guys did a terrific job in getting ready for this race.
Oh, they did, Jim. We knocked about a 12-foot section off the boat, but they got it fixed, and it's been running just terrific. It feels good, and I've got all the confidence in the world to go out and run as fast as we'll go this weekend.
Certainly one of the boats that is not broken is the Miss Budweiser, with that tremendous speed on this course going into this race. Jim Hendrick is down with owner Bernie Little.
Contrary to belief, the more you win, the more pressure is applied. Right, Bernie Little?
Well, yeah, that's right, Jim. With this one being the 5th one in a row, we're under a lot of pressure. The crew's under a lot of pressure. The driver is, so we just don't want to make any mistakes. And so we're just going over everything over and over to make sure the Miss Budweiser is there to win.
The Budweiser Columbia Cup, Tri-Cities, Washington. We'll be back with the action in just a moment. Tri-Cities, Washington, the Budweiser Columbia Cup, and a little something extra. Sometimes we get some of the fast qualifiers on there for a little dash for cash, and Jim, this was a good case in point.
Yeah, we're going to have a big dash for cash the last race of the season, Honolulu, the old dual shootout. It'll take the top 3 boats that have the most points for that last race. No dash for cash for O'Douls, the shootout. This particular race is the first time we've ever had a dash for cash in Tri-Cities.
And what a dash it is with the Budweiser on the outside of the Winston Eagle, back in 3rd place, a little bit off the pace is the Tide boat, George Woods Jr. I think he's going to let the leaders go at it and see if anybody makes a mistake. Right now, though, it's neck and neck coming out of the turn. The final turn, the checkered flag is up. Winston Eagle on the inside to the right. Here comes the red and white Miss Budweiser. Chip Hanauer, who set the record at over 160 miles an hour on this course, takes the win, and what a fine way to start out the day.
That was action yesterday, but now today, earlier, as we get close to that winner-take-all final, final. Here's the way they stacked up in Heat 1A.
Right off the bat, we expected to see a battle between the Miss Budweiser in lane number 1 and the Winston Eagle in lane number 2, but instead it's Winston Eagle taking the lead. The black and red boat on the outside is Stephen David in the Miss T-Plus. Now watch out, because the Miss Budweiser comes up on the inside. Once on the back stretch, Chip Hanauer takes control. First place. This is the boat that set the record at over 160 miles an hour on this course. But look at the tide. George Woods Jr. sneaking up on the inside of the Winston Eagle. It's going to be neck and neck for those two boats as they come down for the checkered flag. A real tight battle for second place. Back in fourth place, it's the Miss T-Plus getting a little bit light back there, and it looks like the tail section that was the repaired part of the boat is shaking. Meanwhile, the Miss Budweiser operating flawlessly. Look at the tide trying to come up on the inside. George Woods Jr. second place in this one. The Miss Budweiser, Chip Hanauer, takes the win in Heat 1A. Third place will go to the Winston Eagle, and fourth to the T-Plus boat. There's Tony the Tiger coming in fifth place, gets 13 points on the day. The Miss Budweiser getting 40 points.
Speaking of Kellogg's Tony the Tiger, we're going to show you something in just a second, but we want to thank Ken Maurer, Karen Miller, all the crew for putting on a great race. They always do every year in the Tri-Cities. What nice people, and they do a great job. This course holds many memories for Mike Hanson.
1 year ago this weekend, the race here in the Tri-City ends when Kellogg's Tony the Tiger goes upside down with Mike Hanson aboard in the final heat. Mike, any special feelings about coming back here?
Oh, it was a little nerve-wracking the next weekend in Seattle. I got a little nervous, but the first lap during qualifying here, I noticed it. I started thinking about going in the first turn, but after that, it's never really occurred to me again. We just, unfortunately, we cut the show short last year. We'll just have to make up for it and win the race this weekend.
In Heat 1B, 5 boats were listed for the start, Jim, but only 2 of them a drag race when the race actually took the green flag.
Bellevue Miss Mazda is out because of ignition system problems. No spark to the engine. Rudder damage the day before in Old Boy, Alberta. They worked all night. The repair glue is not dry in time for this heat. And Miss Go Bowling, bent a shaft when a blade let loose, and they're out for the day. They really busted up the strut and a lot of other things in that boat.
From a field of 5 to a field of 2, and it is a drag race with the American Spirit, red, white, and blue, the stars and stripes on that boat on the outside, now trailing the Miss Rock, Nate Brown. Nate, a rookie on the circuit this year. No question, I don't think in anybody's mind that this man is going to be up for Rookie of the Year honors. He came in, he was a winner in the limited hydroplanes. His crew cheering him on now as he gets the checkered flag in Heat 1B. A good run for him, and he matched out against the American Spirit, whom he matched out against the previous weekend when things went the other way for him. So I think the Miss Rock has got to be very happy, the entire crew, to see how they finished out in this race. First place with American Spirit second. 3 boats, as we said, did not start. We'll be back to the Columbia River in Tri-Cities, Washington, with more unlimited hydroplane action in just a moment.
Back here in Tri-Cities, Washington, I'm Jim Hendrick, along with Dick Crippen and Steve Montgomery. We're set to look at the action of Heat 2A.
And in 2A, lane number 1, it'll be the Tide boat. George Woods Jr. been doing very well out here today. The Miss Budweiser has already won a heat. Chip Hanauer. Winston Eagle, Mark Tate, would like to get up into that winner's circle. He'll be in lane number 3. Lane 4 will be the Miss T-Plus. We do not see that boat on the course. However, lane 5 will be Tony the Tiger from Kellogg's, Mike Hanson. You remember he had the flip out here last year. And it's going to be a good start under the green flag. Right off the bat, it's the Winston Eagle locking up with Chip Hanauer in the Miss Budweiser. The inside boat is the Miss Budweiser on the turn. Miss T-Plus trying to hold it up there and stay with the lead pack, but Miss Budweiser is breaking away.
The T-Plus and Steve David are on the beach. They did not answer the starter's gun. We're sending Steve Montgomery down there. We'll probably find out what happened.
Well, he's on his way down there. All eyes are on the course. The Tide boat now running in second place again with the Winston Eagle back in third. George Woods Jr. having one of the best days he's ever had on the unlimited circuit. That boat running second to the Miss Budweiser. There you see the Winston Eagle on the outside. Mark Tate says, I want to get a little piece of that action. He comes up on the outside to the left of your screen, back in second place. They're about even Steven as they come down, but the Tide again tries to break it away on the inside of the rooster tail from the Miss Budweiser.
Boy, I'll tell you, we've had the greatest action. Look at that pass by the Winston Eagle and the Tide. They really get loose, Dick.
This is something Mark Tate has got to watch out for in that Winston Eagle boat. It tends to get a little bit loose on this course. He got up there, challenged for it, and then when I was unable to close it, there's the Tony the Tiger boat from Kellogg's. Right fighting back in 4th position now. Here comes your leader around the final turns. This is the Miss Budweiser. Red and white, uncontested in this one. There you can see George Woods Jr. again riding in 2nd place, trying to come up on the inside. But I'll tell you what, this is one guy. He'll be happy with 2nd. So the Miss Budweiser, who set the record on this course earlier today, now has an opportunity to make a clean sweep of it. Miss Budweiser takes the win, the Tide 2nd, Winston Eagle 3rd, Kellogg's 4th, and the Miss T-Plus did not start. Let's find out what happened.
The problem that kept Steve David and the T-Plus from competing in Heat 2A, not a big one, but it did take some time to fix it. They broke a gearbox that drives an oil pump. It's completed now, and they will be back for Heat 3A.
It was 2 in a row now for Miss Budweiser. Let's go back down to the pit area.
Chip Hanauer, was it a carbon copy of the first time out for you, or a little bit different?
A little bit different. I got a better start, so I didn't have to come from behind quite as bad. But, yeah, good race.
You feeling okay?
I have a back injury. It's been plaguing me all year, and I had 2 weeks to rest it, and it got better, and then yesterday I hurt it again, so I'm struggling a little bit with my back.
It's actually been bothering since the first race of the season when he hooked violently down in Miami. That's when it all started.
We're down to a 3-boat race. The Miss Rock with Nate Brown, the winner the last time out in 1B. And Pietro's American Spirit with Mark Evans will be in the throw. Misco Bowen has withdrawn due to damage caused by a broken propeller. Bellevue Mazda is also out after ignition problems. And Oh Boy Alberto having problems, but they're on the course right now.
And Oh Boy Alberto is driven by Mitch Evans. You can see him on the left of your screen there as he tries to get the power to it. As the other boats, it looks like American Spirit in the lead. But wait a minute, there's fire coming off the back of the Oh Boy Alberto. That's going to put him out. It looks like that engine blew royally. Meanwhile, in the lead position, the red, white, and blue boat, the American Spirit. But boy, has he got his hands full on the inside. Miss Rock, Nate Brown, again looking for a win. There you can see the Oh Boy Alberto has gone dead in the water. It's Mitch Evans with the cockpit up.
As Pietro's American Spirit takes the lead once again. What a battle they have. We get the words from the pit. A rod just blew through that engine, causing the fire. Oh Boy Alberto destroyed an engine.
So they're possibly out for the day. We'll check on that as soon as this race is over. But right now it is a neck-and-neck drag race between the inside boat, Miss Rock, and on the outside, Pietro's American Spirit. Right now, Miss Rock takes a very slight lead. Mark Evans trying to catch him on the outside. So many times we tell you to remember that in hydroplane racing especially, the boat on the inside has the advantage of a lesser course. The boat on the outside keeps a higher speed. But right now, it is Miss Rock that is dominating, and Miss Rock gets the checkered flag. Nate Brown takes his 2nd win of the day. It's quite a day for this young man. American Spirit, Pietro's American Spirit 2nd, and we did not have a finish from the Oh Boy Alberto. Bellevue Mazda did not start the race. As we told you earlier, the Misco Bowling withdrew.
In your victory at Heat 1B, your final comment was said, we're going to do it again too, and you did.
You bet, and my comment now is we're going to do it again 3.
Not too bad for a rookie. You're smiling from ear to ear.
Well, thanks a lot. It's a lot of fun, you know. I mean, it's kind of the reward of all the hard work that goes into it, but the viewers ought to realize there's a lot of hours to go in preparing a race boat like this, even at the level we're running, and you can imagine the level Budweiser and Winston Eagle are running.
The RC Cola Unlimited Hydroplane Series continues with the Budweiser Columbia Cup in just a moment.
Today we're going to prepare a spicy little thing. You're going to like it, I guarantee. Took all the hottest things in your kitchen and put them in one big pot. Ooh, that looked good already. Took the whole thing and lowered it slow like in the water. Now you stir real fast. And just watch it cook.
Back on the Columbia River in the RC Cola Unlimited Hydroplane Series, we get ready for Heat 3A.
All 5 are turbines. The Tide will be in lane 1, Miss Budweiser lane 2, Winston Eagle lane 3. In slot number 4, Kellogg's Tony the Tiger. Down the outside, back into action, is Miss T-Plus with Steve David.
The green flag is flying high above the course. We'll see if they get a go on this one around, and there they go. Winston Winston Eagle trying to take command right off the start line down into turn number 1 on the outside. Stephen David of Fort Lauderdale, Florida in the Miss T-Plus. They're hard into turn number 1, out on number 2 to the backstretch. Budweiser on the inside, getting a little bit light, but the Miss Budweiser, Chip Hanauer, with the back problems and all, keeps his foot in it and manages to take away first place. Now in second place is the Winston Eagle with Mark Tate. Watch out for the Tide boat. He's already beaten the Winston Eagle earlier today. We'll see if he's got the power to move up from third position today. George Woods Jr. looking to try to take some control.
Whoa, that Budweiser bouncing around, and look at the Winston Eagle. He's hanging it on the hook and really loose at the front end.
That's the front of the pack. A little further back in fourth place, it's the Miss T-Plus, the repaired boat. And in fifth place, it's Kellogg's Tony the Tiger with Mike Hanson driving. The real battle, though, is up front. But wait a minute, the Winston Eagle has gone dead in the water. Mark Tate loses power in the Winston Eagle. That moves the Tide up for another second place. Still, the Miss Budweiser, uncontested on this course today, takes the win in Heat 3A.
We have a report that the Winston Eagle blew the hot section. He tried to pass the Budweiser inside. The prop got out of the water, cranked up tight, and that engine, the hot section, is no more. Miss Budweiser having a perfect day.
120 points for that boat, but I'll tell you what, that is one very, very sore driver. He's being helped out of the boat by owner Bernie Little there, and some of the crew. You can see he is in obvious pain from that sore back. Chip Hanauer, winner here today in Heat 3A.
Problems continue to plague the B-section boats. Bellevue Mazda, with ignition problems corrected, saw the Magneto go. All systems have stopped. Old Boy Alberto will not make the start of the heat. They're still replacing the blown engine from the heat before.
And look what happens on the start. Black smoke and flame comes out of the Miss Rock. Nate Brown is out of it. Pietro's American Spirit takes the win with ease.
We learned the Miss Rock blew the hot section, a gap reducer which spins the compressor let loose inside.
So American Spirit with the win on the day. That puts him into the competition with 57 points. And there you see the rest of them. Miss Rock did not finish. Bellevue Mazda and Oh Boy Alberto did not start. The starting lineup for the last chance: Miss Rock, Miss T-Plus, Oh Boy Alberto, and the Bellevue Mazda. The boat that wins this one gets a shot at going in, and Miss T-Plus, with a great start on the field, took advantage of every ounce of water that he had available to him, and he simply blew the field away. Stephen David of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, a boat that was under repair coming into this race, takes the win in the last chance and makes the final field. And we'll be back with that final championship heat in the Budweiser Columbia Cup in just a moment. We're down to the winner-take-all championship heat here in Tri-Cities, Washington. This is going to be 5 laps, so they've really got to be ready to go. And, Jim, this is a wild field.
It is. The Tide will draw lane number 1 on the inside for George Woods Jr., Bill Wooster's boat. Miss Budweiser had lane choice. Chip Hanauer says, I want lane 2. Kellogg's will be in lane 3, Tony the Tiger, with Mike Hanson at the wheel. Mark Evans and Pietro's American Spirit will be in lane number 4. Lane 5, Winston Eagle with Mark Tate. On the outside, the T-Plus will be in lane 6, and the trailer will be Miss Rock, driven by Nate Brown.
A powerful field of hydroplanes ready to take the water here in Tri-Cities, Washington. The white flag is out. We'll see if the green flag goes. They come up to the line. There it is. It's a start, and it's a good start. Right out of lane number 2 is the Miss Budweiser. Now, remember, not only do we have to be concerned with the endurance of the boat, we have to, in this case, be concerned with the endurance of the driver, Chip Hanauer, having some very strong back problems, and I know it's got to be hurting him in the boat right now, but he is in the lead. That's got to help him a little bit. Coming up right behind him in that rooster tail is the Winston Eagle, Mark Tate, and look at the Tide boat. George Woods Jr., who beat the Winston Eagle heads up in the first heat they raced in today, now is challenging him again heads up for second place.
We've had the best racing in the history of this sport this year. This is no exception. By the Budweiser with Chip Hanauer out in smooth water. It's the Winston Eagle, the Tide, doing battle for second, and what a race we've got.
We saw the advantage of the inside boat go to the Tide that time as he hung tight on the buoy line, but you saw the outside boat catch him on the straightaway, but nobody is catching that boat, the Miss Budweiser. Here comes Winston Eagle, and again, Mark Tate tends to get a little bit light. Meanwhile, the Miss T-Plus, Stephen David, is fighting in 4th place. He's got a couple of waves breaking over. Sometimes that happens, but this battle for second place has everybody standing up. It's neck and neck as the Winston Eagle on the outside of the Tide Tide a little bit light there, backs it off as they come down toward the corner. Winston Eagle tries to keep the speed up. This is really good hydroplane racing.
143.971 mile an hour, and the Winston Eagle has lost the horizontal stabilizer. The tail is falling apart.
This is a malady that several of the boats have suffered this season. Now the boat continues to ride very fast, still holding second place, but without that horizontal stabilizer, they've got to be concerned with some other damage that it might do as it leaves the boat. And of course, you have the other wings laying over on the big exhaust tube from the turbine engine. Miss Budweiser operating flawlessly with a driver who's in pain. There you see the T-Plus still a little bit down on the nose, and he tends to break across. Now, a little bit further back in the pack, Tony the Tiger, Mike Hanson, has quite a battle on his hands with the inside boat, Pietro's American Spirit. Mark Evans trying to get up in there.
We're looking at the Miss Budweiser. Chip Henauer's averaging over 140 mile an hour for this heat. If he can maintain the speed, it'll be a new course record for a 10-mile heat.
Well, this is one of the fastest courses on the unlimited hydroplane circuit, and certainly the Miss Budweiser is taking full advantage of it now. No competition at all for that boat. The competition comes right behind it with the Tide boat and the Winston Eagle, and they are still battling it out. It is still tied on the inside, as you can see clearly, matching up almost perfectly to the outside boat, the Winston Eagle. You only see them separate when you get an angle on them.
Boy, is he flying that boat. George Woods Jr. is flying the Tide down that back chute today.
That boat has been getting better and better all season long. Here comes the checkered flag out, tiptoeing home as the Miss Budweiser, and she gets the win. That makes it 5 straight on the unlimited hydroplane circuit for Chip Hanauer's second place. A great day for George Woods Jr. in the Tide boat. He had to battle for it, but he held on. He gets second place. There you can see the damaged Winston Eagle for third. Fourth place goes to the Miss T-Plus Stephen David. Fifth place now goes to the American Spirit, who's lost the cowling on the course somewhere out there, but he kept the boat going and takes his fifth place. So the Miss Budweiser, the Tide, the Winston Eagle, Miss T-Plus, and Pietro's American Spirit for the finish in the championship heat.
A great race, a great crowd. Let's go down to Steve Montgomery in the winner's circle.
Chip Hanauer had to overcome more than the other boats today, and that has to make it especially sweet, Chip.
Well, it does. Thank God I had an unfair advantage today. The Budweiser team gave me, I think, the best piece of equipment out there. The conditions were horrible, and had they not given me such an unfair advantage, I think it would have been a totally different deal. This race belongs to the guys that prepared this boat, not me.
Bernie, I would say this young man did his part.
Oh, he sure did, and what a champion. I'll tell you one thing, he drove the hell out of that boat, and you could see how rough it was, and he wasn't feeling up to speed, but he said, I'll bring you home a winner, and he did.
The boat was great. You know, as hard a time as I had, I could tell the other guys were having a harder time, and I think the problem was they kept making us go around. They wouldn't give us a start, and every time we went around, it just made it rougher and rougher, but that's the roughest corner that we faced all year.
Well, Chip certainly will feel a little bit better when he sees the Eagle Snacks High Point Series. Of course, he's dominating in the Miss Budweiser. The Tide now in second place. Winston Eagle has moved up from 5th place to 3rd, so it was a good day overall for the Winston Eagle crew.
A great crowd, great competition here in Tri-Cities, and it's 5 straight for the Budweiser and Chip Hanauer. Quite a feat.
The longest streak, of course, 9 in a row by Bill Muncy, 2 at the end of one season, the first 7 the next year. Ways to go, but Chip is creeping up on the record.
Do you see more competition forthcoming? Look at George Woods takes over second from the Winston Eagle. That was quite a race.
We have said that all year long, Jim, that these boats are closing in more and more behind the Miss Budweiser, and I think today, Tide coming up and beating the Winston, that's the first time that boat's been able to do it. I think it's an indication that George Woods Jr. is serving notice to the rest of this field, and there are other boats to watch, too.
More competition coming up. Next stop at Seattle for the Rainier Cup. On behalf of Steve Montgomery, Dick Crippen, I'm Jim Hendricks. So long.
The Budweiser Columbia Cup has been sponsored by RC Cola. Give me the taste of my RC. By Eagle Snacks. Remember, not all snacks are created eagle. And by Budweiser, the king of beers, with that clean, crisp, cold taste. Nothing beats a Bud. A promotional consideration has been provided by Red Lion Inn in Pasco, Washington. You're never far from the great hospitality of Red Lion Hotels and Inns. 1-800-547-8010 for toll-free reservations.